Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Never Talk to a Stranger, with MAPS coaches Kara Mall and Ron Wexler. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Coaches, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Tara, are you there? Uh-oh. I think we lost her. Let's give her 5 seconds, and then we'll get started. All right, well, I don't know what happened to Kara. She was there 2 seconds ago. Hopefully she'll chime in. So, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yay! Go ahead, Kara. Take over.
Technology works wonderful when it works. Did you already tell them that we have like 5 hours worth of material that we're going to cram in for them today? Oh, my God.
Let me just say that. I'll say that, and then you take it from there. So
all right,
we were looking at the 700 pages of information we wanted to share with you today, and knowing that we really asked you for 30 to 45 minutes of your time. So just know if we are speaking super incredibly fast, that's okay, because you're going to get a copy of this recording to listen to it again. Pretend it's one of those books that you order that you put it on super speed when you listen to it. Just play it that way. If you have questions, type fast and we'll respond fast. And it's going to be a great call and you're going to get a lot out of it. So we're glad you're here, and just know we're going to do everything we can to be finished within 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, Kara, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. And, how cool is it that we have so much we want to share with them? So good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. The fact that you're here today speaks volumes about 2 things. One, your understanding that sales is the art of communication, and that when you increase your ability to effectively communicate, your sales will naturally increase. And the second, your presence illustrates the commitment you have to yourself, your clients, and all of those people in your world. You're probably realizing with each passing day that you have the ability to dramatically impact those in your presence and leave them with more power just because of your relationship. Our intention in being with you during our time together today on the next slide is to create an experience that causes you to commit at the highest level to mastering language, allowing you to impact lives, and ultimately to close more transactions. My name is Kara Mall, and in addition to being a top real estate agent in Chicago, I'm a market center investor, a MAPS agent, and senior transformational coach, and I have the honor of being co-facilitator of MAPS Language of Sales with my longtime colleague and very good friend, Ron Wexler. Ron, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, so real quickly, I'm a mega agent in Chicago. I'm the language of sales coach for International. I'm an owner in a bunch of market centers, and my main focus, though, is building my team, helping buyers and sellers, and coaching agents. And the most important thing is, before we start, we want you to choose to actively engage in the time we have together. I want to share that Carrie and I believe that the MAPS language of sales can have a direct and immediate impact on your future, your income, and in every area of your life. That's why we have so much passion about teaching this class. So today is going to be a workshop. And what I mean by that is you're going to walk away with something you can use immediately. And you're going to see the value in committing to evaluate your language skills by enrolling in this fast-paced program. What's really fun is the new program that we have coming is self-paced with videos, audios, and live Q&A sessions monthly. So you're going to learn at your own pace, and you're going to get a lot out of it. So think about it. We're on the phone with a group of agents, team leaders, coaches, and more, talking about a program that was started in 2006, which automatically tells us that we're here to improve our skills. So our time here today will be interactive. As part of the webinar, you're going to access that question box. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We're going to be asking you to focus. We're going to ask you to think. And we're going to ask you to have a pen and paper in front of you, or a tablet and a pen in front of you, so that you can write. We want you to share through the question box. We want you to be open to grow. We want you to get uncomfortable, because that's where all the growth happens. And by being here with us right now, you're investing in yourself. We're all giving our time together. There's a reason for it. We're going to get something out of it. Take a moment and imagine what's going to happen in your business when you have the ability to understand and connect with and influence your prospects and clients in ways that you're not even aware of right now. Let's use the question box to share the answer to this thought. What are you thinking right this minute? When you hear that, when you hear what would happen if you're going to influence people in ways that you haven't even thought of before, just share. I would like to see a couple of you just share what comes up for you when you hear that. Was that too much, Karen?
No. I think,
Okay,
all right,
good.
we've got some coming in. How can I earn another $1? I get to help them
Yes.
believe in and achieve their dreams. Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's called Language of Sales, and yet this class could really be called the Language of Influence, because we're using language to influence others. So let's talk about where everybody can enroll. Before we really get rolling, write that down, mapslos.com. And again, for those that are with us here for the first time, welcome. For those that have been with us before and maybe taken Language of Sales in the past, like Ron and I have before we both started coaching it, we're changing it up. We've got a new format, some new material. It's going to be 12 self-paced sessions. So when you register, the launch is going to happen on July 11th. Is when you'll have access to the first materials, and you'll get to learn at your own pace. So no more running back from an appointment so you could get to Language of Sales, or at session 5 or 6 when you start to get behind, you can go back and listen to it and get caught up. There isn't going to be a short-term time frame on when you have to complete the course. You can learn it at your own pace within reason. There's going to be monthly live Q&A calls, an exclusive Facebook group for the people that are in the new launch. And of course, it's going to help you make more sales in less time. And, Ron and I are really, really excited about this new launch and the way the material is being delivered in the snippets and the videos that we produced and went down to maps and tapes for you guys. So in preparing for today, Ron and I got together and shared our thoughts on how the average agent thinks. Here's what we came up with. They're probably doing things the hard way. They think that they have to be a hard closer. They maybe think that they have to be super salesy, and, well, maybe that things can't come easily. Here's the great news. When you say the right thing in the right way at the right time, life will be easy and people will easily move forward with great decisions because of your language.
Right. That's why we're going to ask you to play full out for the next half hour, right? Eliminate distractions, dial in your thinking, pay attention to this call as if it's the one that's going to help you make another $1. It's going to help people make more decisions, and it's going to make your life better. And, just real quickly, I just want to share the reason I love this course, and I basically haven't been coaching for a long time. I was coaching for a long time, and I stopped. And when they asked me to teach this course, I said yes immediately because of the impact it had on me in my life when it was first introduced to me. And I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I'll just tell you that I took this course when I was making about $140,000 a year, and within 3 years I was making $400,000 to $500,000 a year. And what happened? And I'm not saying that's the only reason is that taking this course, but I loved it so much that the first time I took it, it was a 6-month course, and I took it 3 times in a row for 18 straight months. I stayed immersed in it because of what it was doing for my communication, my family, my bottom line, everything. And this is going to be a short snippet of what that's like, but there is so much to it. That's the reason we're taking our time, and we want to be a part of this with all of you. So Kara, do you want to talk to them a little bit about rapport?
Yeah, let's start talking about what we're going to teach them today. Rapport is when two people have a good, synchronized, trusting, safe, and connected relationship in which they're able to understand each other's needs, ideas, and feelings. In other words, when you're in good rapport with a client, they trust you and they do what you ask. They don't hesitate to share information and they trust you as a person. If you've been watching and paying attention to Gary Keller, he's been focusing on building technology via KW Command so that once you're in rapport, your clients and all the systems that we have are going to be automated. Gary tells us we should focus on building a community, and rapport is the cornerstone of that community. It's what helps us build that community. The goal of rapport is this: to cause clients to feel comfortable with you and your recommendations. It's also to take your career to the next level, like Ron talked about, through relating to others easily. And then of course, it's to sell more homes in less time with less resistance. And then finally, it's to cause others to act and share because they relate and trust you. The ultimate goal is to live a better life because communication is just easier. For the rest of the call, we'll be sharing a strategy that's going to allow you to become more effective in your ability to communicate with strangers and, of course, influence your prospects, clients, and staff.
So, naturally, the fact that you've decided to join this session illustrates your belief that possessing an ability to influence will allow you to take your real estate career to the next level. Have you ever noticed that some people just naturally have others listen to them at a higher level than the rest? Those people who just never met a stranger. They seem to be instant friends with everyone they meet. Does it seem like they're blessed with some secret power? It's like they're a Jedi, right? And they have the Force. I'm the salesperson you're looking for, right?
We have to work on your Yoda accent there, Ron.
I know.
You know what? I am the salesperson you're looking for.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kara.
Go ahead.
Kara, do it one more time.
You tell him.
It's not magic, right?
I am the salesperson you're looking for. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Master Yoda. It's not magic. It's not a superpower. Most likely it's a trained communication technique. They know how to communicate with people in a way that causes others to feel good about making decisions and being right about the action that they want to take, right? Let's do a quick exercise. Write on a blank piece of paper 2 things. Number 1, write down how many strangers you bump into on a weekly basis. Think about the mall, your building, your neighborhood, the gas station, restaurants, kids' schools, every place you go. How many people each week that you currently don't know? Now multiply that number times 50 weeks. Because, of course, you're going to go on vacation at least 2 weeks every year. Not that you're not going to meet people there, too. So if your answer was, I meet 1 stranger a week, then that would be 50, right? 1 times 50 is 50. If you meet 2 per week, it would be 100. 3 per week, over a year, it would be 150. You get it. So just, real quickly, just type in the box the number that you wrote down. Put it in the question box so Kara and I can see what number you're coming up with. So it's how many people you bump into in a week times 50. And that'll give you your yearly number. So, okay, we've got 750, about 1,050, 150, 20 to 25 a week. So 25 a week times 50.
It's
right?
1,000,
100,
yeah.
250, 12, right? 1250. So, okay. Someone said 12,500, right? I mean, ultimately, the bottom line is we're all bumping into a lot of people. So think of this like baseball, right? Spring training's in full swing. You're looking to plan your season. This is the number of at-bats or times you get to step up to the plate in real estate. It's the number of opportunities that you have to connect with someone.
And of course, Ron and I understand that you're just learning and you're not that great yet at purposefully playing the language of sales rapport building game. So let's say you have 3 opportunities a week or 150 total opportunities in the year. And let's say that currently you're only connecting with 10%, which would equal about 15 people who could be added to your database, or as Gary is calling it, our community. These are people who may buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate with you someday. Now let's presume that you convert your database at 10%, and let's do the math. Take 10% of the number you wrote down and round it up. So for instance, if we had 150 opportunities or 3 per week converted at the current language level, it becomes 1.5 or 2 transactions, because it's, I don't know, I find it very difficult to do a half transaction. So you all have a number now, round it up, and now multiply that number by your average commission and type that number in the box. Let's take a look at some of those. Let's take a look at some of those numbers. We've got some coming in, 12,000, 175,000, 750,000, 20,000. Got some pretty big numbers.
11 million, I like that.
11 million. Think about that. That's the return your current language skills are netting you. That's the return your current language skills are netting you. So what do you think about that, Ron?
So, look at that. Look at what those numbers come out to, right? 2 transactions is going to give you 10,000 more. So let's run a different scenario. Let's take the same 3 per week or 150 opportunities, and with your newly found language skills, you can now convert additions to your database at a 50% return. Let's say that you're connecting and making it happen at a 50% return. Suddenly, that becomes 75 people added to your database. Now let's do the math on this one. 3 per week is 150 times 50% added to the database, which is 75, times a 10% return on database, or 7.5 rounded up to 8, times your average commission of 5,000, suddenly you're at 40,000. The difference between what you're netting on your current language skills and the language skills you developed during language of sales is what experts call lost potential income. Now you know why we want you to really focus on this call. Kara?
You know what? It's so painful to hear that, right? Lost potential income. So let's state one more thing that needs to be made clear. Using elevated language skills is not manipulation. The definition of manipulation is exerting shrewd or devious influence, especially for one's own advantage. We're not using the MAPS language of sales power for the dark side. You must become more effective in your language to make an impact on your listeners and empower them to take action. When you enroll in the new self-paced language of sales program, we'll be coaching you through how to better connect with people in a way that causes them to act instead of procrastinate, and causes them to choose you because you are a force for good and want to help them get what they want, not what you want. Can we just get a few yeses typed in the question box so I know you're with us? All right, fantastic. Ron, let's move forward. Love
All right,
this group.
So let's learn one quick method of instant rapport building from language of sales. Consider, even in this day of texting and emailing, you can still add a lot to your bottom line, making strong connections with the people you meet, just living your normal life, and at group activities like your kids' sports or your 7th level open houses, wherever you're out there. So the method we're going to teach you works extremely well, and like most things in life, the more you use it, the better your results will be. And one other thing, you have to be very comfortable being uncomfortable when you learn this first method. It requires you to put aside your normal way of being, your automatic natural communication style that you've used your entire life. It may feel unnatural at first, so you'll have to be okay with being a little humbled by doing something different from what you've always done. Think of it this way. The class is called MAPS Language of Sales. Part of the course is learning new language and new language patterns and a new way to communicate. Think about the last time you learned a new language. I don't know about you, but it took me a lot of repetition, practice, and focus to learn and become good at it. So I was willing to pay the price when I was introduced to language of sales, and the reason, again, was the results that I was going to get. So get ready to be uncomfortable.
So here we go. You meet someone and you want to initiate a real estate conversation. Your goal is to connect with the person you meet in a way that they like, remember, and feel connected with you. If they are not ready to buy or sell at this very moment, you want them to give you their contact information and permission to keep in touch. So let's start by telling you the what, and then we'll talk about the how. We're going to build rapport by doing 3 things. Number 1, paying close attention to their model of the world. Number 2, respecting and connecting with them based on their model of the world. And 3, we're going to follow until rapport is built, and then we're going to lead based on a strong connection. So that's the what. When you meet someone, instead of insisting on them liking you for who you are, you're going to be like them. People relate to people like them. They like people like them. They trust people like them. And they remember and enjoy the interaction with people who are like them. So guess what you're going to do? Right. You're going to be like them. Think about it. Have you ever met someone whose dialect was intensely different than yours? Or maybe they dressed different, they spoke faster or slower, or just different from you? Did you feel connected to them? People who speak fast think people who speak slow are what? They could be unintelligent, slow, right? That's just the way they're speaking. And what about this one? People who speak slow think people who speak very fast might be sneaky, untrustworthy, etc. And then they judge immediately that people speaking fast are trying to pull something over on them. Well, your verbal and nonverbal communication are just like that. People who are dressed to chill make instant judgments about people who are dressed to kill. Young people judge old people judge, well, you know what? They judge everyone. How would you like it if when you first met someone new, instead of reacting to you like a stranger, they felt right away that you were safe or a friend or someone that they were intensely interested in getting to know? What if they loved and even repeated the conversation they had with you? What if the line you were standing in moved and they followed you into the parking lot and were happy to have the communication continue? That's the goal of MAPS Language of Sales. Whether it's on the phone or in person, we want to connect with people and have them love the conversation we shared.
Perfect. So now pay attention, because here it is. First, paying attention to their model of the world. You bump into someone in line at the grocery store. You make eye contact. You smile. You make a comment about something you observed. They have a child or two, a cart with a lot of groceries, healthy food, party food, or hardly any groceries at all. Maybe they look as though they just came from the gym, the office, a soccer game. You find something you can comment on, and you make a very neutral, safe comment. Remember to breathe. We know we've been programmed to not speak with strangers, even though that relationship can be worth a lot of money. So stay with me here. When they respond, you intensely pay attention to the way they speak, their tone, their rate of speech, their body language, and especially their facial tone. Their face, their face. Pay attention to their face and the face that they're making. I know that's a lot, right? It's new. Remember, new language is not easy to learn. You already understand that once you learn it, it's yours forever. None of you have a problem speaking some form of English if that's the language that you learned, right? Language of sales is the same way. So they respond to your comment. You're going to listen intently like they are the most interesting person on the planet. You make your observations and you commit to respect and connect with them based on their model of the world. Now you're going to pay attention to any keywords they may have used more than once when they responded. In the MAPS language of sales, we call this keyword backtracking. You'll have to take the class to learn more about it, but just to be clear, to keep this conversation the light version, it's just a taste, right? We'll share what we're talking about in an example in a second to show you what we're discussing here. So it's imperative that you first pay close attention to their model of the world. When they responded, were their eyes twinkling as if they were speaking of the greatest joy of their life? Were they frowning as if they were in pain just thinking of what you discussed? Did they look off into space and give nonverbal cues to what feelings your comment elicited in them? Did they look into the card at something in particular and make a certain face? So you've observed their behavior. Now you're going to follow their lead. You take on as much of their body language as possible. Are they slouching? Are they leaning? Do they have one foot up on the lower part of the cart? Are they leaning in or leaning back? Are their arms crossed? Remember, you observed their way of being. Now you're going to follow as much of that way of being as possible. You're going to pick out something from your observations, something from the verbal and nonverbal cues, something from their bodily response. Put it all together in a response, and you're going to stay there with them, like them, as they are, as long as you have to, until you feel completely connected to them. You'll know you're connected because you will then test the connection. When you're in rapport, you follow, then you lead. Great leaders teach that great leaders are great followers first. So you actually learn about others and how they are being and join them where they are in the world. And when you're in rapport, they will give you permission to lead.
It's so exciting. Wait until you actually see this work in your life. In fact, picture how you'll already do this. When you have a little child and they're emotional about something, you lower down to where they are, you put a sad face on, you start with their tone, which is actually you getting in rapport with them. Then you start talking in a happy manner and bring them out of it. It's truly that easy. So right now you may have one of two reactions to what Ron just shared. Either your inner voice is saying, no way, never, they'll know, they're going to catch me, I can't do this, why should I? I'm smooth, people like me, and when I'm being me, I'm way too cool for this stuff. Or maybe your reaction was, oh, I can give it a go. The world's great communicators use this method. Both Ron and Kara have coached hundreds of successful agents and have sold thousands of homes. And at MAPS, we've learned from some of the greatest communicators ever, and they're the ones who helped put this all together.
Okay, so this might have made you a little bit uncomfortable. That's great. That means you're getting it, right? Because if you weren't getting it, you wouldn't even know you should be uncomfortable. So as soon as you try it, you'll see how powerful it is. And you have to practice it over and over with everyone to even start to internalize it. So let's say you're in that grocery store line and the person is dressed in sweats. They have a cart full of vegetables. They seem harried, exhausted, and frustrated. They have 3 little kids hanging off of them. The kids are totally out of control. You turn to them. You look this person in the eyes. You take on a little of their body language and posture, and you turn and say, wow, I'm impressed. You truly have your hands full. And now you're going to intensely pay attention to their body, their tone, and their response. The person says, ugh, you have no idea. It's 2 o'clock and we've been going since 8 a.m. I haven't had a chance to breathe. My kids are amazing, and today they've just been a handful. They're running around acting crazy. They're having fun. They really enjoy each other's company. I just want to get some good food into them, and I can't wait to get home and just let them play in their own space. Now, often when it's someone with kids who may not have interacted with another adult for hours, they may have a long-winded response, right? Don't interrupt them. Just look them in the eyes, start to mirror and match everything about them that you can. Pay attention to the way they light up or fade out when talking about whatever they decided to respond with. And now it's your turn. Remember to use keyword backtracking. Use their words. You're going to sound like them. So you might say something like, oh, watching you all, I was thinking, these kids are amazing. They're high energy, but they're being nice and kind with each other. They really seem to enjoy each other's company. Now just stop talking. They might respond with something like, yeah, it's wild keeping up with them. And then you respond with, you know, I sell a lot of real estate in the area, and sometimes when we're out looking, I have a client with a crew like yours, and we're often looking for lots of space and big yards. Honestly, the kids are rarely as nice to each other as yours. And I've noted sometimes kids wear the parents out. And they, of course, say something like, you sell real estate? I wish we could buy a bigger house. We're probably 3 years away from being able to afford one. So this is when you see that you're in rapport. They breathe a sigh, they lean in, they share, they connect. Maybe they ask you a question, right? You go into what we call the 5 basic questions of real estate, and it's where you go from following to leading. So they might say, yes, you know, you're going to answer with, a lot of people in this market are waiting, and right now is truly an incredible time to buy. And here's the 5 questions if you don't use them a lot. Where do you live now? How long have you lived there? How did you choose that location? If you were to move in 3 years, where would you go next? And if they didn't already tell you, then ask, when would that be? If they didn't say 3 years in their response. And then the 5th thing would be, how are you keeping up with the changes in the market? So ask these questions, stay with them as they are when they're responding, and test the rapport by breaking it. Once you're in rapport, break it. Talk a little faster, talk a little slower, shift your posture, do something that causes them to either go with you or divert from your connection. Test the relationship. See if you're in rapport or not.
So, of course, the goal is to connect and to get them to do something right now, or to turn them into a database member, community member, who will stay connected to you until they are ready to go and do something with real estate. That last question is what makes that part of the conversation possible. And that's the, how are you keeping up with changes in the market? Offer a monthly newsletter, a postcard, the market snapshot, their neighborhood report. Tell them about the neighborhood insights, all the amazing things we have available in Command, or whatever, you know, automated thing you have that will work. Get their home address so you can utilize all the great tools that we have coming out. The bottom line is, it hardly matters what you say. It actually matters more that you connect, create rapport, and then when people hear someone like them, all their defenses go away and they let you take the lead. We know we did this quickly. And in the new self-paced MAPS language of sales sessions, we dig deep, and then you will do the growth work to reinforce each concept on your timeline. MAPS language of sales is a method of influencing brain behavior through your use of language in communication. The utilization of language patterns in our teachings through the course is designed to move your listener forward, helping them to reach their goals and objectives. And again, their goals, not yours. And I think we all know, as Zig Ziglar says, help enough people get what they want and you'll get what you want. Let's look at some facts that become useful in communication. You must become more effective in your use of language, causing your listener to choose you, work with you, hire you, join your team. You get the point. You can just connect with the limited number of people who communicate exactly like you, or you can choose today to master your language skills, which will allow you to increase your closed transactions, market share, your life, the lives of those around you, and the way we think about it, get more yeses in your life.
So, you know, many of the top performers in our company and their teams, like the Loken Group, have taken the MAPS language of sales over and over. And just like it did for us, it raised our income. It lowered the number of contacts needed to get to yes. So the question is, would you like to learn more techniques like this that will make a massive difference in your life? I'm wondering, what is the price you're paying right now for your current skill set? Right? Earlier, you figured out the potential lost business opportunity that not elevating your language skills has cost you. That is the cost of your current skills or lack. The best communicators know that investing your time and resources in mastering your language skills will give you an enormous payoff. Take a moment and get clear on the calls you didn't make last year because you weren't sure of what to say. How many of you are nailing your lead gen time? How many of you have a listing you failed to get this year? Or maybe you have a listing that hasn't sold because it needs a price reduction and you're avoiding that price reduction conversation. Think about it. You've been working with a buyer for a while. You haven't figured out how to get them to take action. Now is the time to make a difference. What is the price that you're paying for those skills? So instinctively, you're already beginning to understand the need to take advantage of the opportunity to increase your sales through mastery of language. There is a price that you will pay, right? The language of sales is 12 incredible weeks. It's $3.99. And think about $3.99 versus the numbers that you were saying before that you've been losing.
You know, Ron, I think intuitively, they already know that they're paying a far greater price for the leads that they didn't convert and the listings they didn't take. So we're going to invite you to join us in our new, again, it's new, it's rewritten, it's self-paced, it's audio, it's video, it's sessions as you go for the MAPS language of sales that begins on July 11th. You'll automatically get the modules and you can pace the program to your schedule. So if you need to go over something several times, which often happens in this class, you'll have the ability to do that before you move on. And additionally, there's going to be live Q&A sessions where Ron and I are going to facilitate and clarify any questions that you might have. And we'll have a Facebook group for quicker access to answers, accountability, sharing experiences, etc. Ron and I are super excited, as is the whole MAP staff, to be one of the first group programs launching in this format. And we know that it's going to increase the effectiveness of the program. Ron, what else do they need to do?
Well, just throughout the 12 sessions, we'll introduce you to work on language patterns and strategies of influence through building rapport. You'll learn to align your mindset and skills into an intentional set of behaviors that allow you to dramatically increase your effectiveness. So the price is only $3.99. It begins July 11th, but don't wait. Go to MAPS LOS right now and commit, because you know when you commit right now, things start to move in your direction. So I know we went super fast. I hope you'll all go back and listen to this again. You're going to get a link where you can actually share it with other people. If there's anyone else you'd like to help, just this one technique we did today, I know could make a major difference for you and for anyone you share it with. So don't be afraid to share it with others. We really appreciate you and all of you being here, and we look forward to seeing you in Language of Sales. Kara, anything else?
No, absolutely. Guys, thanks so much for your time today. Thanks for allowing us to spend some time with you, and we look forward to engaging with you in the next MAPS Language of Sales when it starts July 11th. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Go get them.